Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be about the Kipipiri Four, also known as the wives of the Mau Mau generals, who were instrumental in the strides made by the Mau Mau movement in Kenya in the 1950s towards democracy. The Mau Mau were a collective of civilians, predominantly from the Kikuyu tribe, that opposed colonial rule by executing militant attacks on colonialists and local supporters of land seizures that left the natives destitute and desperate. Some of the Mau Mau generals and members were stationed in the forest of Mount Kenya, and this is also where the generals' wives were able to play their respective roles in advancing the movement. They were four women who are today known as the Kipipiri Four. These women were the generals' wives and were tasked with delivering communications, weaponry, food, and boosting the morale of the Mau Mau army and the village people. Bobo, the first of the women, was also the leader of the four. She would wear her hair in amazing and detailed styles and walk around the village in silence during a full moon. This was a signal to the other women of the village that they would be heading to the Mau Mau members and generals in the forest at midnight. Not only did she use her hair as a means of communication for the village, but it was also designed in such a way that it served as a map for the ladies to follow when they ventured into the forest. The only person who could interpret the design of Bobo's hair was able to guide the women safely to the generals in the forest was her second in command, Chip. Chip, as the second in command, was responsible for navigations from the village to the forest. Her interpretation of Bobo's hair design ensured that the women were never caught or lost in any of their ventures into the forests of Mount Kenya. She was noted to have great night vision, which was useful as the women made their way through the forests in the dark of night. Just like Bobo, Chip also had another important role of smuggler. She had formidable fighting skills and was tasked with coordinating the smuggling of weapons to the Mau Mau. Some of the weapons were hidden in her hair. Achi was another of the women who was the chief chef of the Mau Mau fighters. She too would conceal food supplies in her hair and travel to the forest to cook for the fighters. Her hair was woven in such a manner that it looked like she was wearing a straw basket on her head. This is where she transported her food supplies from the village to the Mau Mau fighters in the forest. She was sure to prepare food that was enjoyed by the fighters, despite the fighters being in the most remoteness of the forest. Muende is the last of the four women and the only one of the four who would remain in the village while Bobo, Chip, Achi, and a handful of village women ventured into the forest, heading towards the Mau Mau hideouts in the deep forest and caves, carrying weapons, food, and supplies for the fighters. Muende had a beautiful singing voice and was a talented dancer as well, and would lead the women of the village in song and dance to welcome the Mau Mau fighters back in the village. Even though the fighters would not spend a lot of time in the village before they returned to their hideouts, they always received a grand welcoming thanks to Muende. Muende placed vocal resonators in her hair that were attached to a mouthpiece she designed for her singing. The Mau Mau uprising went on officially for around 8 years and managed to survive for as long as it did, with the support of women like Bobo, Chip, Achi, Muendo, and many others pro-Mau Mau civilians and organizations. Notably, one of the alleged Mau Mau leaders went on to become Kenya's first democratically elected president in 1964, the former president, Jomo Kenyatta. Today, Kenya has a leadership in what could be viewed as a monarchy, where the firstborn son of the first democratically elected president is the #1 statesman and residing president since 2012 to date of uploading of this video. A democratic Kenya as we know it today would not have been possible had it not been for the mothers of our nation, the wives of the fighters, and the will of the people. All the women discussed today used their hair in one way or another to advance the movement. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little something about Africa. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content just like this, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.